Our topic today is about finding our way through all of the mixed messages that our society is constantly, our culture is constantly bombarding us with. We're like almost pushed to identify with labels that tell us what we're supposed to believe, how we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to act, what we're supposed to do. You know, if you're a woman or a man or a non-binary, if you're a teenager, an adult, a parent, if you're a liberal, conservative, independent, a professional, whatever you may be, fill in the blank, right? Whatever, a healer, artist, musician, whatever. It's like, okay, any of those labels that you take on, it's like got this whole overlay of a stereotype on it. What pictures do you fit in? What does this mean about how you're supposed to dress, how you're supposed to look, how you're supposed to move, how you're supposed to carry yourself, what you're supposed to believe, how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to vote, all of these things. And the messages are just, they're not even clear because they're full of double standards, right? And these double standards are impossible to meet. And it's this damned if you do, damned if you don't conundrum. And this is our society's double bind. And just a word about that, I write about that in my book, Fear, Food, and Feminine Power, that is coming soon. So this can be challenging for us in any role that we take on or any stage of our lives to figure out how we identify, who we are, what we are, and still stay true to our own hearts and our integrity and honor the truth inside of us, right? It's like, oh, go with this team. Ah, go with that team. Oh, fit into this group. Oh, fit into that group. And so today we're going to do some work to kind of tease out the messages of whatever it is that you're pulled, I'm going to say pulled to align with, and tease out the messages so you can let go of what is not you, that's calling you to be it, right? And just be true to who you are and what you are, and the importance of being yourself, standing in your integrity and honoring your truth. And we're doing this for ourselves, but it's also very important for our children. If it's hard for us as adults, just think of how it must be for our children. So we're going to focus, again, on gaining clarity around the identities we fall into, the messages that condition us, and we're going to seek to release the imprints that do not fit for us and find our way that aligns with our personal integrity, and then look at how we can support our children to also do this for themselves, right? Because oh, I feel so bad for the kids these days, right? Well, I felt bad for us too. Oh my gosh. I was born in the early 60s and teenager in the 70s, and whew, I sure identified with a lot of things that were not necessarily aligned with the core value system that I didn't come to know until much later in life. And I would have, part of me says I would have loved to have had some support from someone who understood. And the other part of me says I was too rebellious. I wouldn't have listened anyway. So who knows? But all right, let's go ahead and come into our circle. Let's come into our circle sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, coming together as one. And just imagine a beloved to your left side, a beloved to your right side. And we are side by side with our hearts facing toward the center of the circle. And as our hearts come together as one, let's call on our source in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. We call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your pure divine light. And just imagine the stream of pure divine light streaming into the center of our circle, right into your heart. And let this light, as it fills the whole circle. Just imagine it radiating and reaching all the way to you, surrounding you, and let this light shine on your skin. So this light shines on you. Let it penetrate through your skin, through your pores, and let it make its way through your tissues and through your neurological pathways, all the way into your central nervous system, your spinal column, and your brain. This pure light just moving through all of those electrical circuitry in your body, cleaning everything up, cleansing and purifying and illuminating your pathways, your true pathways that not necessarily holding all of the stuff from the past that you don't need anymore. The stuff you need, yes. The stuff you don't need, just make an intention that that gets cleaned up, decluttered, cleansed, and purified. And the stuff that, the pathways that are serving your highest good for the present moment, that those be electrified, right? And this light is like electricity that runs through your body and runs through all things. And just let that circuitry become clear and clean, and let your whole body be electrified in a very happy and positive way. And just imagine this light coming through the top of your head and moving through your vertical core of your body. You can upright your spine, elongate your spine, and feel that that crown at the top of your head, like lifting you up by the top of your head. So your head's not facing up, but that top there is lifting you up, and that light is coming through, and it moves through your body halfway front to back, halfway side to side, moving through your head space and through your throat, through your heart space, through your solar plexus, through your sacral center, and through your base. And as this light that surrounds you moves in through your pores and travels through your circuitry, it meets that inner light at your core. And think about the light that runs through a light bulb, and imagine yourself like the filament, that light that runs through your core, like the filament that runs through a light bulb. And your sphere of that holds your whole energy body, your whole being, as like the glass around the light bulb. And the electricity just runs along that filament at the center. So let this light be that electricity, and your center, your core, be that filament. And the brightness of that light depends on the intensity of the electricity that runs along that filament. Right? So it's not about spreading your light way out. It's about bringing it in to intensify along that filament, and your light will get brighter and shine farther. So let's take a breath, and as you inhale, just draw all the parts of yourself into this vertical core. And as you exhale, drop down and land into your pelvic bowl. Anchor into that center of gravity at the center of your pelvic bowl, right? That space about a few inches beneath your belly button, halfway front to back, halfway side to side in your pelvic bowl. If you just gently engage your lower abdominal muscles, you can feel that center of gravity at the center of your pelvic bowl. That's your place of balance and stability. And let yourself anchor into that place, and let that There's that wellspring of life force energy right there. Just let that lift your spine. And again, meet with that vertical core of light. And as you inhale, draw all the parts of yourself into this vertical core. Exhale, drop down and land into this pelvic bowl, your pelvic bowl. Anchor in that center of gravity and just let this light move along your vertical core. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, we call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your unconditional love. And just imagine, point your heart center toward the front of you and feel this unconditional love streaming into your heart center. Let it be like a funnel that lifts up, and let that light and that love pour through that funnel all the way. It's like it funnels all the way into this vertical core. It's infusing unconditional love into this core of light, center of your being. And just let your heart be loved. As this love flows through, love is love and it loves. So as your love pours through the center of your heart, let your heart be loved and feel it. Feel it. Feel yourself being loved. You are loved. You are loved unconditionally and completely. Every part, all those parts of yourself you just called into this core, all of them are loved. Let them feel loved. Invite them to feel the love that pours in for them. And then just feel it in your heart. Take it in, drink it in. Let your whole core be like a dry sponge that is absorbing this water of unconditional love and being loved, and just filled with love, saturated, satiated with love, completely loved unconditionally. Take a breath, breathe that into your core. Exhale, drop down and just land into your pelvic bowl and let your inner core body swim in this unconditional love, in this river of unconditional love flowing through your core. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, we call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your eternal compassion. Just feel this eternal compassion. This is the ocean of living consciousness. The river flows to the ocean. Let your whole being rest in this ocean of living consciousness that is pure compassion. Pure compassion. And let your entire being rest into it and be held by it, be supported by it, be loved by it, be understood, be accepted, be connected, be whole in this ocean of living consciousness. And there is a Sufi teaching, and actually this is one of my favorite topics, in the step levels of creation. That you have first is the pure mind of God. It's the plan and the vision for this whole earth realm and the whole journey of it, the whole existence. And, first is pure mind of God. There is the pure intellect and then the universal soul. So the pure intellect is the plan and everything. And then the universal soul, one soul, is where the plan is written into. And then you have the laws of nature that govern everything, and the dust, the particulate matter that from which everything will be formed, right? And then you start into the cosmic dimensions. And then you have from the universal body, right? You have the universal, from the universal soul, you have the cosmic dimensions, you have the universal body, and then you have the throne. And if any of you have studied with my spiritual teacher, we talked about the throne of God is in the heart, the very center of the heart of the human being, because we are all here to be some manifestation of spirit in form. And the throne is at the heart. And the throne is that last place in the creation where there is the one and only one, and no separation. But from the throne then goes the footstool. And from the throne to the footstool is that first place where we go from 1 to 2. And on one side of that footstool is that the throne is pure compassion and nothing else. The Rahman. And that is the ocean of living consciousness. It's the womb of creation. And it is that which through which everything comes into existence. And so the throne is that one and only one. It is pure compassion. And then the footstool goes to 2. One side of it maintains that pure compassion and nothing else. The other side of it is the everything else, the multiplicity and all of the many facets of the jewel, right? All of the many facets of the jewel are reflected through the many, the multiplicity. And yet everything in that multiplicity, that leg of multiplicity, is infused with the pure compassion, and it is contained in the pure compassion. That's the side we're living in. We're living in the multiplicity. Everything is infused with the pure compassion, and everything is contained in the pure compassion. So you are floating in this ocean of living consciousness, right? Let me just say, at the center of the heart, the name of the heart in Arabic is qalb, which means to turn. And the heart has that ability to turn, to like check in on the inner, like, okay, right? The heart, and if you've been with me for a while, we talked many times about the heart is constantly turning between that inner knowing self that connects, that witnesses, that the leg of pure compassion, and the part that witnesses the leg of the everything else, the multiplicity, infused in compassion and contained in compassion. But we don't always see the compassion when we're looking at the everything else. So we have to remember and turn back. But that's the inner compass and the inner knowing that is guiding you all the time. And you're constantly turning your heart back and forth. The eye of your heart turns to the inside, and then it looks to the outside, and it looks to the outside and it says, is this safe? Is this love? Is this real? Is this, is this like, what is right? And it turns back to the inside to look for guidance, right? Constantly turning back and forth, constantly asking, is this safe? Is this love? Is this real? Is this, is this like, is this where I belong? Right? Because that's one of our big questions. Where do I belong? Where do I fit? Why am I here? What the heck? What's going on? This is crazy town, right? And how many times do we say that to ourselves? And the key there is to then, okay, turn back to the other leg of that throne, right? The other side of that footstool. What's the pure compassion? What is it that our heart is made to align with? And, because, oh boy, there's like, as you're going through the cosmic dimensions there, and this is the really cool thing, I finally got the whole Vedic astrology piece, because as you go through that, you go through the zodiacal towers and through the constellations and the fixed stars and through the, it's beyond this, where you go through the 7 heavens, which are all, all the planets and all of that kind of stuff that we that give certain imprints and that influence how we're going to, our uniqueness of how we're going to travel this path. And then there's, the Akashic records and the Archangel Metatron and all of this full stuff. But anyway, let's just stay, because I can get carried away. Stay with the footstool, right? You're in this ocean of living consciousness. And in this ocean of living consciousness is all of this stuff. All of the many facets of the jewel that are reflected and take on many forms. Some resemble the love and compassion. Some show you the absence of, or a flip side of the coin. And so as you feel yourself in this ocean of living consciousness, as you feel yourself in this ocean of living consciousness, you have your uniqueness as how you've been brought into this physical body. And yet you're in here with everything. You're floating in this ocean of living consciousness with all of these things reflected in front of you. So take a minute and just tune into your heart. Put your hands over your heart and really breathe into the space at the center of your heart, that point of the throne in your heart before the footstool, before it separates into the footstools. See if you can really breathe all the way into the center of your heart. Lean into the center of your heart. Breathe into your back body, into that space behind your heart where you really feel the breath of spirit coming through and breathing you through the back of your heart. Feel it. Let it breathe you. And let yourself just rest into that and be an observer. Just drop into that with inquiry. What is your uniqueness that you bring through, that is brought through you, right? We don't even do it. We just be it. It's for us to observe and to learn and understand as best we can what moves through us as we move through this prism of the cosmos. What gets reflected through our physical form into this realm. And just tune into that and let yourself fall into it and align with it. And let yourself just imagine the eye of your heart. The center of your heart is like an eye that's observing and taking in information from around you. Drop down into the very back of the eye of the heart and let yourself look out from there at what is around you, right? And first, before you look too far out, let's go back in and drop into that back of the eye of the heart. What are the stereotypes, if you will, or the labels that you've identified with? Man, woman, mother, father, non-binary, child, young adult, teenager, parent, artist, musician, healer, lawyer, doctor, professional, student, construction, baker, bookkeeper, clerk, all of these things, right? We have all of these positions. What are the ones that you kind of fall into? And let's look at what kind of imprints. And let's go ahead and throw the politics in there too, because that's a big deal for us right now in our world. So liberal, conservative, independent, Democrat, Republican, whatever, Green Party, and whatever fits with what country you live in. But whichever of these, then you don't have to do all of these. So just pick what rings for you, right? Just pick a few that ring for you. And Just feel into staying in that center and looking now, looking out from the eye of your heart at all of these little boxes and all of these images and pictures about what these things carry. The ones that you've identified with, that you fall into as your role on this planet, in this body, on this trip through planet Earth. What are the things that you identify with? And what do those boxes, those identities, like, how do they want to imprint you as to how you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to believe, and what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to act? How do they want to imprint you, right? Just holding them in your, like on your movie screen in front of you and witnessing them as you stay centered in your heart and you're looking at them through the eye of your heart. As you stay in that place of your own unique, very unique imprint that comes through the planet and into your body, through the cosmos and into your body. And you're looking on the movie screen in front of you at all these boxes that have their various imprints. And just let yourself, from the eye of your heart, let it turn, the bulb, right? Let it turn, turning to the inner. What is your truth, your alignment? Who are you? What is in your sincerity? What is in your integrity? And then as you turn to look outward, what's on that movie screen? And just start to notice what's on that movie screen that aligns with the integrity inside of you and what doesn't. If you have a pen and paper, you can even make 2 columns on the page. And it helps you, you can start writing because sometimes it really helps to write things out. And if that distracts you, then don't do it. But you can write the things that align, the things that don't align. And for the things that do not align, let's just make the intention that those get purged out. And let's let them get purged out of your psyche, purged out of your mental body, of your etheric body, of your emotional body, and all the way out of your soul. And as we're purging, the divine name of Yah-Kahar, and that's like the Q, which is at the back of your throat, Kahar, Qahhar, means the invincible. And the quality of Al-Kahar is, it is that quality, is that divine power that keeps you tethered to your core light no matter what happens to you in your lifetime. So that's what keeps you anchored and tethered to your core light, no matter what has ever tried to pull you one way or another or disconnect you from yourself. That keeps you intact. And Al-Kahar is the invincible. And when that comes in, it like sizzles and burns out all of that stuff that tries to take you out of your core light, so that until nothing remains but the divine flame of your core light inside of you. So let's call on Yah-Kahar, Yah-Kahar, Kahar. It is the invincible. And just call on the divine power of Yah-Kahar Ya Kahar. Ya Kahar. Ya means oh. So you're calling on it, you're invoking, you're asking for this divine power of Kahar, the invincible. Just come in and just sizzle and burn out anything from your etheric body, from your physical body, from your emotional body, your mental body, all the way to your soul. Anything that does not align with your core light, the truth of who you are and what you are here to be and to bring through in your trip around planet Earth in this physical form. This Ya Kahar, Ya Kahar, and let this divine power really come in and purge out everything is calling on your source directly and asking for that divine power, the force of your source, and by the will of your source to come in and purge out anything that tries to take you off course from your core truth. And purge it out. Ya Kahar, Ya Kahar, Ya Kahar. Ya Kahar, Ya Kahar. And as it purges it out of you, let's just go ahead and just anything from that movie screen, if it can wipe it off the movie screen, that's great. And if it's still something for you to see as just an information, like a mark of information there, just release any attachment to it, release any pull that it may have on you to conform in a certain way with that element, that facet of the jewel, and release that attachment, that pull, anything that wants you to conform with something that is not true to your core light, and release it and just let that release from your body and go back up onto that movie screen. No connection to you, no attachment to you, just information about what exists that you no longer have any pull toward, no longer have any attraction to. You might be able to admire it within someone else, but not you. And that's okay. We'll let that release from you and return to its rightful place in the cosmic realms, in the material realms. And breathe and fall back into the center of your heart, through the eye of your heart, into the back of the eye of your heart. Feel the breath of spirit that breathes you through your back body. And let yourself be breathed by the breath of source. Again, connecting in with that very unique reflection of core light that shines through your physical form and through your light body, through your heart, within your physical form. Fall back into that and let it breathe you. Let it be you. You can take another look at that movie screen. All of those images of the different identities that are in front of you. Are there any of those now that do really light up, that ring true for that inner light inside of you? any that you do want to identify with out in the world, right? You're still going to bring your uniqueness to it. Still your uniqueness. But is there anything out there? So yeah, that's something I identify with, and that's something that I might want to like put on the canvas, right? Not necessarily into your heart. Keep your heart pure, that place inside of yourself. That is your sacred space, your sacred temple. Keep it pure. But imagine you're painting now your own canvas in front of you, your own picture. You're painting that picture. And what are the different pieces that you might want to put on that picture for yourself? Kind of like a cosmic, what do you call that? Vision board or a cosmic self-portrait, right? What are the things that are reflected out there that really do reflect your core light, your inner truth of who you are and who you're called to be? And bring those onto that canvas in front of you, the self-portrait vision board. And just notice what comes onto that. Again, if you want to write these down, what does align with you? But as they come onto this vision board, just take a look at it. Self-portrait vision board. Just take a look at it. Just kind of notice how the different pieces fit together and the picture that they form. And with the help of Source and divine orchestration, just let them and make the prayer, the intention that they really come into their right relationship with each other and their correct proportions, or their most aligned proportions that really reflect what's inside of you. Like, something may be, it's important to you, it's a part of your identity, but it really only takes up just, a little small space there. And something else may take up a whole third of the canvas. So just notice what proportions, what positions, and just let this be like the divine painting this for you, or the very center of your heart, reflecting it and projecting it onto the screen. And those places in the world that, like, kind of show you where you might fit, how you might align, where you might really carry out your actions and your purpose, put your energy. Like, let them just show you through that image. And as you watch that being painted, again, if you want to make any notes about it, you write them down. And as you see that, let that really be, if you can get a visual, if you can't get a visual, get a feeling. Everybody's different, right? So some get a visual, some get a feeling, some get an inner knowing. Some of it's like an intuition. So, and some it's a vibration, that sentience, that vibration, just let yourself feel it. And in any case, let your senses, in whatever way you sense, let your senses take it in and imprint this information into your body, into your energy body, your etheric body, your inner knowing, your intellect, into your cells and tissues and into your bloodstream. Let this run through you and inform you of who you are, what you're here to align with, what you're here to carry into the world, how you're here to move with what's in the world, where your alignment and your direction is calling you, leading you, guiding you, inviting you. Let yourself really take that in. And again, breathe. And as you inhale, inhale all the parts of yourself into your body, into your vertical core. And as you exhale, drop down, land into your pelvic bowl, anchor into that center of gravity in your sacral center. Lean into your spine, upright into this vertical core. Feel that energy move along that inner filament of your light bulb. And let your whole being rest around that. Rest into your space and be imprinted with this very unique self-portrait. Let it inform you. Let it be you. Let it guide and direct you. Let it breathe through you. Let it move you. Kun fayakun. Kun fayakun means be and it is. Be and it is. Kun fayakun, be and it is. And let yourself rest into that and really take it in. Let yourself be templated, imprinted. And again, I'm going to invite you to write down anything that will help you to anchor this in, right? When we feel something, we have an inner knowing. When we write it down, it's like it moves a circuitry through the body. You use many of your faculties to actually write it down, and then you can see it back through your eyes, travels through your cranial nerves and into your brain and central nervous system, and moves through your body again. So let yourself just write it and then read it. Read it after you finish writing. Let yourself write. What does this mean for you? What do you see? How do you relate to it? What does it inform you? What does it tell you? Our world likes to put things into boxes and make assumptions that everybody fits in this box, is going to look this way, act this way, believe this way, do this way, do these things. That is not true, because we're each unique. Disconnect from all of that, see the big picture, release what doesn't align with our inner truth and our unique imprint of the many faceted jewel that we're here to shine into this world. We can see what does resonate, put those onto our own unique picture, our own unique canvas. Let that be the imprint that we are going to relate with, resonate with, move with, that really reflects our truth and our uniqueness. Your truth, your uniqueness. That be imprinted into your being, and write that down. What does it tell you about who you are, who you're here to be, what you're here to do? Be and it is. Be and it is. Be and it is. Okay. And with that, we're ready to open for the Q&A. And if you're listening to the recording, Well, I'll tell you what, everybody just take a minute and just really like drop into that pelvic bowl. Feel yourself in your hips. You can move your hips around and really let the energy flow through your legs all the way down into your feet. Stretch out your legs, stretch out your feet, stretch out your toes, circle your ankles. You can also circle your shoulders and stretch out your arms and circle your wrists and stretch out your fingers. Really feel this presence all the way through all of your body. Okay, and if you're listening to the recording, you're invited to join us live on Sundays, 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. Find information for joining us live at communityforconsciousliving.com, communityforconsciousliving.com. When you go there up at the top, you see that join the CCL community. Click that button, sign up to receive the reminders and the replays. You'll get 2 emails a week. Every once in a while, I'll throw in another one, but honestly, I'm just not that organized. So um, you get a reminder of this, or to meet us here live with all the information on how to get here, and then you get the replay. And you also receive, when you do that, 2 free gifts. One is a download, a one sheet of the 10 spiritual principles of our human existence, who we are, what this earth journey is about, why we're here. And it also comes with a 15-minute downloadable guided meditation that I hope you will download and make a part of your daily life, your daily practice, to help you to connect with that pure divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion that is the truth of who and what you are. All right, and with that, I thank you very much. We're opening now for Q&A.